Never waste a good crisis. And when it comes to the economic crisis, don't waste it when it can have a very positive impact.
You never want a serious crisis to go to waste.
The way we're going to win over the long term is not just militarily. We've got to win over hearts and minds. And what that means is we've got to invest in countries that have no educational infrastructure, have no means for young people to get ahead. We've got to give them a stake in creating the kind of world order that I think all of us would like to see.
Stay tuned for politics and religion. This story is shocking, but it shouldn't be. The headline reads, Greece loses EU voting power in blow to sovereignty. Now, Greece has fallen short of its financial goals and has been under tremendous pressure in the European Union to meet those goals and to deal with its deficit spending. However, all of a sudden, the other EU states have taken the stance that they're not going to be allowed to vote in the next important EU meeting unless they are able to get things in line. Now, what this does, literally, is to take away Greece's sovereignty. Let me just read a thing or two here because I think it's important that you hear it straight from the article. This comes from the London Telegraph out of the UK. While the symbolic move to suspend Greece of its voting rights at one meeting makes no practical difference, it marks a constitutional watershed and represents a crushing loss of sovereignty. We certainly won't let them off the hook, said Austria's finance minister, Joseph Proli, echoing views shared by colleagues in Northern Europe. Some German officials have called for Greece to be denied a vote in all EU matters until it emerges from receivership. So now all of a sudden, all the other nations are saying to Greece, we're not going to let you vote anymore. We're going to take control. And actually, they intend to implement European tax policies, and they intend to take over the management of Greece's budget in order to bring her in line because they feel like that Greece cannot do it on its own. So, we talked about the Lisbon Treaty, and it actually mentions here that this is the first big action under the Lisbon Treaty. And so we talked about the Lisbon Treaty all last year and how that it was, in fact, a constitution for a United States of Europe. Well, the Lisbon Treaty was finally ratified on November the 3rd of 2009. And we told you at the time that, in our opinion, it was one of the 5 greatest prophetic fulfillments in the last 2,000 years because it is, in fact, the rebirth of the Holy Roman Empire. So now then we see the federal government, the EU, already asserting its power over individual states, and all of a sudden people seem to be shocked by this, but they certainly should not be, because we knew all along that they were really establishing a United States of Europe, and now then the EU is actually asserting its authority. Now, why is this particular prophecy so important? We know in Daniel chapter number 2, verse 31 through 44, there is a prophecy that shows all of the empires that will obtain world dominion from the time of Nebuchadnezzar and Babylon in 600 BC until the second coming of Jesus Christ, which is just ahead of us now. In this statue, in this image, in this prophecy vision, there was Babylon, Media Persia, Greece, Rome, and then the Holy Roman Empire. Now, those are the 5 empires that have actually ruled the world from the time of Babylon in 600 BC until right now. We're in the last phase right now, the phase of the Holy Roman Empire. The Holy Roman Empire was actually born on 800 AD when Pope Leo III placed a crown on the head of Charlemagne, who was the head of Germany at the time, and said, I now crown you Emperor of the Holy Roman Empire. Now, that was 800 AD. Here we are, 1,100 years later, 1,200 years later, and, of course, the Holy Roman Empire has basically ruled Europe from 800 AD until about 1806. Now, the historians presently are declaring the Holy Roman Empire died in 1806. However, it was temporarily true, but it has now been revived. This is nothing short of a revival of the Holy Roman Empire, the present European Union, bringing all of Europe together in one great European empire, is in fact the revival of the Holy Roman Empire. Since the Bible specifically states that Jesus Christ will come back to this earth, it's depicted as a stone rolling down out of the mountain. It smites the image on the feet. That's the iron mingled with clay. The iron represented the Roman Empire, which ruled the world during the time of Christ. The iron mingled with clay represent the Holy Roman Empire. Two different things. The religious element has now been added in, and so that's when the kingdom of God is going to be established. Now, this is really exciting news for us, because that means you and I live in that particular era when Jesus Christ will return to the earth. The U.S.